They called me the family bank, until I heard the truth through the door. Before we begin, if you've ever been used by people you love, or made to feel guilty for saying, no, this story is for you. Stick around, and if it hits home, like, share, and subscribe. You're not alone. Hi, I'm Sophie, from Hartford, Connecticut. And this story is the moment I stopped being the good daughter, and finally saw my family for what they really were. It was a Sunday evening, and I was doing what I always did, showing up with love in my hands. I had just finished a 60-hour workweek at the firm downtown, but I still made time to bake Mom's favorite lasagna. It was still warm in the dish as I climbed the porch steps of my parents' house. Garlic and rosemary hung in the air like comfort. I smiled. Sunday dinners were sacred, my one moment in the week to just be their daughter again. Then, I stopped. My name came up, muffled but clear, from inside the kitchen. Sophie won't be a problem. She never says no to family. That was Dad. I froze, my knuckles just an inch from the door. But $300,000. Mom's voice shook. How did you even? It doesn't matter how. What matters is I need it handled before they start legal proceedings. Nathan, my older brother, the golden child. I stood there, stunned. Why would my family need that kind of money? We'll tell her it's for the house, Mom said suddenly, her voice dipping into that soothing tone she used when she was trying to convince herself something wrong was actually right. Repairs. Maybe the roof, or the foundation. A little at a time. Say, $30,000. Then later, medical bills, I'll say I need some procedures. She'll believe it. She always does, Dad agreed quickly. Remember when Nathan needed that business loan 5 years ago? 20 grand. No questions asked. Nathan laughed. Actually laughed. She still thinks family means something. It's almost sad. I couldn't breathe. My arms trembled, but I didn't move. Don't talk about your sister like that, Mom muttered. But her words were weak. I'm just saying, she's always been naive, Nathan continued. Remember when she gave up her entire signing bonus to help with the mortgage? 40,000, just like that. Who does that? Dad chuckled. A good daughter. But it didn't sound proud. It sounded like he meant a foolish one. Nathan pressed on. So we'll knock this out. Cover my debt. Maybe even have a little extra for that lake house you've been talking about. Sophie won't even know what's happening. We'll space out the requests. Make each one sound urgent. Desperate. She won't say no when Mom cries. And that's when I realized, I wasn't a daughter to them. I was a walking checkbook. A dependable fool. But not anymore. They were going to trick me. Again. But this time, I wasn't going to let it happen. I pulled into the garage of my apartment building, staring out through the windshield as the engine idled. My fingers clenched the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I had always thought I was the strong one. The stable one. The reliable one. Turns out, I was just the available one. The one they could guilt. The one they could drain. And the worst part, they didn't even think it was wrong. Her money is family money. Nathan's voice echoed in my head. Over and over. That line hit me harder than anything. Like I didn't work 60 hours a week. Like I didn't earn that promotion through blood, sweat, and no sleep. Like I didn't deserve anything I had. I shut off the car, picked up the lasagna dish, and carried it upstairs. I didn't cry, not then, but when I sat at my dining table, alone, and opened the dish, the smell made me sick. I pushed it away and stared at the wall for a long time. Then I opened my laptop. If they were going to play games, I'd play smarter. I pulled up my bank account. Then old transfers. I started listing every dollar I'd ever given them. Nathan's business, loan, the mortgage help, Mom's dental surgery, even that emergency wiring for Dad's workshop. I tallied everything. It came up to nearly $120,000. I looked around my apartment. Small, yes, but mine. Paid for, earned, every piece of furniture, every mug, every pillow. No one gave me those. They'd always called Nathan, the successful one. But now, he was facing federal prison. And they wanted me to cover it up. No, This wasn't going to be another quiet sacrifice. My fingers flew across the keyboard. I updated all my online banking alerts. Changed passwords. Locked access. Cancelled the shared family emergency fund I'd set up out of love. I sat back, breathing harder than I realized. Then my phone pinged again. Another message from Mom. Are you home? Can we stop by tomorrow morning? Your dad wants to check on your kitchen light. The kitchen light. It had been fine for months. It was another excuse. Another setup. I didn't reply. Not yet. I needed time to think. But not for them, for me. Because if they were going to lie, steal, and cry their way into my savings again, I needed to make sure they understood one thing. That Sophie, the good daughter, the naive sister, the generous fool, was gone. That last one was Nathan. Sophie, this is serious. His voice wasn't smug anymore. It was clipped, tight. Like a man who finally realized the rope he'd been pulling had snapped back. I didn't pick up. I didn't even listen to the rest of the message. I just hit delete. Again and again. I wasn't being a drama queen. I was being free. The next morning, I walked into the HR office and started the paperwork for the London transfer. Are you sure about this? The representative asked, sliding over the relocation documents. Her tone was gentle, like she thought I might be running away from something. I've never been more sure of anything, I said, signing my name. That night, I sat on my couch, lights dim, my phone buzzing every 5 minutes. I turned it face down. I'd already told the building manager I'd be ending my lease in a few weeks. I'd booked the movers. I'd even found a furnished flat in South Kensington. Things were moving fast, but that was the point. I wanted them to see how fast someone could disappear when she stopped being useful. Then came the text. From Nathan. If you don't help me, I could go to prison. You're going to let that happen? To your own brother. And just like that, I felt it again, the tug of guilt. That old, familiar weight they always knew how to drop on my chest. But then I remembered Karen's words. Their debts, their crimes, their choices, none of that is on you. And she was right. They weren't trying to save Nathan. They were trying to sacrifice me. I opened a new note on my phone and started writing. Every message, every voicemail, every manipulative word, I transcribed it all. I printed my bank records. I added dates, times, notes. I made a file, not for revenge, for protection. The Sophie they used to know. She would have driven down that night. She would have handed over everything and hoped it was enough. But not this Sophie. Wrong, Mom. This is me now. The version of me that finally sees things clearly. She blinked like I'd slapped her. In the past, I would have buckled by now. I would have folded into her arms and whispered, "Okay, I'll help," just to make her stop crying. But not this time. Her sobs didn't shake me anymore. They sounded practiced. Convenient. "Sweetheart," she whispered, "he's scared. He needs his family. We need our family whole. Family doesn't trick each other. Family doesn't lie and set traps and call it love." My voice was calm, too calm. Family doesn't gather around the kitchen table and plot how to bleed their daughter dry. Her lip trembled. She clutched her purse tighter. "It wasn't like that," she said weakly. "I heard it, Mom. Every word. You planned it like a play. You even rehearsed your lines. Nathan told you to cry." She looked down at the floor. Couldn't even meet my eyes. "You're twisting things." "No, Mom. For the first time, I'm seeing them straight." A pause stretched between us. She was still crying, but it sounded different now. Less desperate. More exposed. Maybe she realized her performance wasn't working this time. Then she said, quietly, "You're not the only one hurting." That nearly broke me, but I shook my head. "You're right, I'm not. But I'm the only one who never asked for anything back. I've given, and now that I finally say no, I'm the selfish one." "That's not love. That's control." She didn't answer. Her shoulders slumped. "I'm moving," I added. "To London." Her head shot up. "What? Next month?" Her mouth opened, then closed. "You can tell Nathan I won't be answering his calls anymore. And don't show up here again. If you do, I'll have security walk you out." I turned and walked away, leaving her standing there in the middle of the lobby, red-eyed and stunned. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't even feel angry. I felt free. He said it quickly, like if he spoke fast enough, I wouldn't hear the lie underneath. That's not true, Sophie. You're my sister. I care about you. I let out a slow breath, standing in the middle of my half-packed apartment, boxes open around me, London documents clipped to the fridge. No, Nathan, I said softly. You care about what I can give you. That's not the same thing. There was a pause on the other end. For once, he didn't have a clever comeback. No guilt-tripping, no threats, just silence. You think I wanted this? He finally said. You think I planned to end up like this? It spiraled. I didn't know how to stop it. I believe that, I replied. But I'm not your emergency exit. Not this time. You know they're going to talk about you. Mom, Dad, they're going to tell the rest of the family you abandoned us. I didn't abandon anyone, I said. I just stopped letting you bleed me dry. You've changed. Good. He laughed, bitter and small. You think you're better than us now. No, I said, walking over to seal a moving box filled with books and framed photos. I think I'm finally better to myself. Click. I hung up. I stared at the phone in my hand. No tears. No shaking. No guilt. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that comes when the storm has passed, and you're still standing. That night, I sat by the window with a cup of tea, overlooking the city skyline. My apartment was half empty, my future uncertain, but something inside me was solid for the first time in years. That last flight out of my old life was the first time I ever truly breathed. Not because I was running, but because I had finally stopped running from the truth. For so long, I thought love meant sacrifice. I thought being the dependable one meant always saying yes, always giving. Even when it drained me. Even when it hurt. But sitting in my London flat now, I know better. I know that real love doesn't ask you to destroy yourself for someone else's mistakes. I know that being strong isn't about enduring more pain, it's about choosing peace over guilt, self-respect over manipulation. 6 months ago, I walked away from people I once called family. Today, I walk taller. Because I'm not ashamed of who I am. Not the quiet girl who once carried lasagna to her parents' house, hoping they'd say thank you. Not the woman who said no for the first time and meant it. I'm proud of both versions. Because they led me here. And if you've ever been in my shoes, used, drained, guilted, please know this. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to build a life where you are safe, seen, and valued not for what you give, but for who you are. And you don't need anyone's permission to start over. If this story touched something deep inside you, if you've ever given too much and gotten too little in return, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. What's the moment you realized your worth? And remember, you don't owe anyone your peace. Reclaim it.